Summer is upon us. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. It's the 21st of March, Sunday. I've got plenty of lots of little bits to be doing, so I think I'm just going to crack on with them. So, give this a clean up. Give these pipes a clean down. Take these pipes off the fuel tank and assess this. Probably swap the fuel pump over. Might wire brush this. I mentioned in the other video, the last video, sorry, that these handbrake cables are really rare and really expensive if you can find one. So I'm going to clean it up with the wire brush and then paint it in some flexible paint. So we'll see how that comes up. This morning I've ordered some Raptor bed liner, which I'm going to be painting the underside of the car. I've decided to go with Frozen White, which is a Ford colour. There's two whites, there's Diamond White and Frozen, and Diamond White is a bit more orangey, sorry, yellowy in colour, whereas the Frozen White is like a pure white. So I'll put some pictures up so you can see that. That's the colour I'm going with, so that should be here this week. And I've been doing a bit of research this morning about what compressors, because in order to spray the Raptor I'm going to need a compressor, so I'm going to be in the market for a compressor soon. So it seems that I need to spend a bit more than I'd like to on one, but more on that at a different time. So yeah, for now let's get a few bits outside in the sun and start cleaning them up. So because once the underside's painted, as I mentioned previously, I can start putting the fuel tank on and the rear beam assembly, and then once the back half's painted I can tilt the front up and paint the front half, and then I can put the lower subframe on, etc., and paint the engine bay. So hopefully we'll start to see some pretty good progress on that soon. So yeah, anyway, let's see what little bits and bobs I can do today. One thing that I forgot to mention, that I completely forgot about, is the seats I've bought. We think that only 8 pairs of these seats were ever made, and so that's been a total of 16 seats in total. This one came up for sale recently for £180, or £200, but the seller let me have it for £180, which was very generous of them. And I knew of another one that Matt had, who also owns a Ford Racing Puma, and I messaged him about it, and that was quite a lot more expensive at £380. Now there's a few little marks and nicks in them to be repaired, and they could do with a good clean, but considering they cost me I think £690 including the postage to get them here for the pair, and they're so rare, I am over the moon with the purchase. I sold the other bucket seats that I bought for £375 to a lad who came and collected them in the week. He was really happy with them. So yeah, as you can see, they do need a bit of cleaning up, but I think a steam cleaner on them and they should look pretty good. I need to get replacement plastic sections for here. I've ordered some, but they came in the wrong size. They no longer do the white infills, so I'm having to get black ones, and I might have to plastic paint them. The spray paint to see how they come up. But yeah, over the moon that I've got those. Really happy about that, and they're going to look amazing once they're fitted into the car. So yeah, just thought I'd better let you know about them really. But for now, let's crack on with some other little bits and bobs that I can find to do. Right, I better give you an update. I've painted the fuel tank, as you saw. It had like a black rubberized paint on it, which meant that the Hammerite silver finish has gone on really well. This bit is the roughest part, but you put the pipe in there and you can't see that. The underside is where you'll see, if I put it on mirrors or whatever at a show, and that's come out really, really well. I've swapped over the fuel pump to the uprated one and cleaned all the pipes up and lines. Took this one out and gave that a clean. I happen to have a spare fuel filter, which I'll put on into it in a minute. You'll see me do. I'd like to have stripped this down and get those powder coated, those sections. However, I just think a touch of silver Hammerite paint on them should freshen them up enough. I hopefully got just enough paint left to do the underside. And you also saw me clean up all the boot, and that's come up well. This section here, now the Pumas and the racing Pumas have a really crisp gear change, and but you can get an uprated one of these, which I probably will buy. They're on eBay. I'll put a link on the screen now so you can see it, and I'll probably order one of those in. It's an uprated one basically. Is it required? No, probably not, given how good the OEM one is. However, given that this, I'd like to replace it anyway, and it's probably a little worn out, the rubber's probably perished, it'll be worth upgrading it. So I'll get that and I'll show you the link, as I said, now, so that can go in the bin. Right, what else? I'd like to sand the fuel lines down and paint those up. You can, James, one of the FRP chaps, he has got sets of these, but I think they're about £100. I'm sure he'll message and correct me on that if I'm wrong. And as tempting it is to get new ones, these ones are in good order, so I'm just going to, as I said, lightly sand them and then get some green paint and spray them so that they look in the OEM finish. What else have I done? Took this apart, changed that filler neck end over, which I had powder coated, over to this one. Now the other one was cut here and damaged, so the one I took off that new car I've cleaned up, and that's ready to go back on. As well as this, I was going to remove it to sort of save weight and whatnot, but your car will struggle to pass the emissions if you don't have it fitted. So I've cleaned that up, that's ready to go back on. So, oh, and finally, I've started cleaning up the handbrake cable. As I said, you can still get them, well, you can if you can find them. They are very rare though, but they're also very expensive. So what I've started to do is wire wheel off the rust. I've almost done this one. It's looking a lot better than this other one. So I'll continue to finish these two off today and get them ready, and then find some really flexible paint to paint them. And as I said, they've got a little bit of flex in them, so if I don't put any rubberized paint on them, it will just crack and split straight away. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I wasn't really feeling it today, but I'm glad I'd come out and managed to do some. So yeah, I'll put you back on time lapse. Try and find some other bits and bobs to do, perhaps sand those brake lines down. That's what I was ordering, some green paint. Yeah, and then hopefully later on in the week the Raptor paint will arrive, the frozen white, which I've ordered, and I can get the idea is I'm going to get a engine crane and I'm going to lift up the back end of the car as high as it can, which will allow me to paint the Raptor up to sort of the midpoint of the car. And then once I'm happy that all the underside and back edge is painted in the Raptor finish, I'll lower this down as low as it can, and then I'll take off the front subframe and low jacket the front subframe, and then from there I can paint the underside. So that's the target this week and next weekend, is to get the underside painted in the Raptor. I will have to source a compressor, whether I borrow one or actually purchase one. The problem is with spraying, you need quite high CFM rates and a high capacity, because for the continuation of the spraying. This is just stuff I've learned out this morning, so we'll see how we get on with that. But yeah, that's enough for the moment. Let's put you on time lapse. I may decide to wash the transporter. It's looking a bit sorry for itself after its long journey the other day, driving to Hemel Hempstead. And I've got some new, what's it called? Snow foam. I'd like to try out. It's a Maguire's one. A lot smaller tubs than it used to be. It's like it must be a much higher concentrate than it's been in the past. So yeah, I'll probably clean the T5 using that and see how that goes. Right, back to it.